Hey guys, let's get more news about Dallas, but first, don't forget to subscribe and leave your like. Cowboys Mike McCarthy reveals QB regret after crushing loss to Texans. It just might not be the Dallas Cowboys' year, as they fell to 3-7 after losing to the Houston Texans, 34-10, in Week 11. Likewise, this loss just adds to the team's woes this season. Dak Prescott's season-ending injury, calls to fire Mike McCarthy, an injury to tight end Jake Ferguson, and a literal falling roof part at AT&T Stadium, making fans of America's team even more miserable than before. After the loss, Cowboys coach Mike McCarthy also shared one of his quarterback regrets during the game. The one thing I should have did at the end and I didn't do is put Trey Lance in there. Could have gotten him a series, the coach said, via NFL on CBS, as shared on X, formerly Twitter. The one thing I should have did at the end and I didn't do is put Trey Lance in there. Could have gotten him a series. Cowboys coach Mike McCarthy. In the absence of Prescott, the Cowboys leaned on Cooper Rush to help them win games, including this Week 11 clash with the Texans, echoing owner and GM Jerry Jones' trust in the backup quarterback. Cooper has shown that he has the capability to compete and win games. He does give us our best chance, Jones had said on 105.3 The Fan prior to Week 11, as reported by Jacob Kamenker for USA Today. True enough, Rush has had a 5-1 record when starting for the Cowboys, winning his first 5 career starts since 2021 to 2022, becoming the first quarterback in Cowboys history, 14th in the NFL, to complete such a streak. However, in his first start versus the Eagles this season, Rush only managed to generate 45 yards and 6 points, completing 13 of 23 passes. Still, that performance happened against one of the league's toughest defenses since their Week 5 bye. Against the Texans, Rush finished 32-55, with 354 passing yards, a touchdown, and an interception. Still, the Cowboys showed why they are one of the worst teams in the NFL this season, as they could not overcome a Houston team that managed to pull away despite not playing all that well. This result most probably fed into McCarthy's regret that he didn't play Trey Lance in Week 11. He probably thought that putting Lance out there practically admitted defeat for himself and his team, especially now that their playoff hopes have dimmed by the week. With 8 games left on their schedule, the Cowboys might not want to actively try winning anymore, so Mike McCarthy might also want to see if their other backup QB had something to contribute. They had given up a 4th-round pick to acquire Trey Lance from the San Francisco 49ers in 2023. Additionally, Lance will become a free agent after this year, and the Cowboys might want to spend the last games of this forgettable season checking if he deserves a developmental slot behind Prescott. Otherwise, another team might want to sign the 1st-round pick depending on his play, giving the Cowboys a compensatory selection they could use on another player. Cowboys express regret over Trey Lance's decision after loss to Texans. The Dallas Cowboys stumbled to a 5th straight loss on Monday, falling 34-10 to the Houston Texans. With Dak Prescott sidelined for the season, the Cowboys handed Cooper Rush the reins for a 2nd consecutive start. Rush took on a heavy workload against the Texans, attempting a whopping 55 passes and racking up 354 yards with 1 touchdown and 1 interception. It was an improvement from his Week 10 performance, where he managed just 45 passing yards in a lopsided loss to the Eagles. However, even with the game effectively decided in the 4th quarter, the Cowboys stuck with Rush, opting not to give Trey Lance a chance to see the field. After the game, Cowboys head coach Mike McCarthy regretted not getting Lance in the game for at least a series. I think the one thing I should have done at the end that I didn't do was put Trey in there, a somber McCarthy said in his post-game press conference. I could have got him a series. That's one thing I second-guess myself on. The Cowboys sent a 4th-round draft pick to the 49ers for Lance ahead of the 2023 season. The former number 3 overall pick has not seen any significant time with the Cowboys. After the game, Cowboys owner Jerry Jones said the team will continue to roll with Rush as the starter, saying the 30-year-old gives them the best chance to win. But at 3-7 and near the basement of the NFC standings, Dallas might want to start thinking about the NFL draft. And getting a look at Lance wouldn't hurt either. Bill Belichick is already trying to coach the Cowboys as Mike McCarthy's seat boils. The Dallas Cowboys have put in a commendable effort against the Houston Texans with the entire country watching on Monday Night Football, but it feels like only a matter of time until the Texans assert their dominance on the scoreboard. Despite the intensity, the Cowboys still look the part of a poorly coached team. They had to call a timeout on a Texans field goal attempt because they had 12 men on the field and allowed Joe Mixon to go untouched 45 yards for the first touchdown of the game. Poor tackling has plagued Dallas all season, and it's reared its ugly head in primetime. While the Texans' shifty receivers have made life difficult, it's when Mixon's had a head of steam where Mike McCarthy's team has really come up small in the tackling department. Troy Aikman has been critical of Dallas defense on the ESPN broadcast, and Bill Belichick followed his lead while appearing as a guest on the popular Manning cast, which is aired on ESPN2. That quote will undoubtedly get the people talking about the unrelenting rumors connecting Belichick to the Cowboys. ESPN insider Adam Schefter mentioned on Monday Night Countdown that folks around the league continue to believe Belichick will be Dallas' next head coach. That is contingent on Mike McCarthy losing his job, but that feels like a foregone conclusion. McCarthy's contract expires at the end of the season, and it's widely expected that it won't be renewed. While Belichick is arguably the greatest coach in NFL history, several prominent analysts aren't convinced he'd be a slam-dunk hire. Belichick would be an upgrade over McCarthy, but some think he's lost his fastball as a head coach. Others have reservations about the coaching staff he'd assemble, particularly offensive coordinator. It's all open for interpretation, but it feels written in the stars that Belichick will be among the first phone calls Jerry Jones makes in the offseason. It's no secret that Jones likes coaches to have previous NFL experience. That's why he hired McCarthy in 2020 and Mike Zimmer this past offseason to replace Dan Quinn as defensive coordinator. It's why many think former Titans head coach Mike Vrabel will be among the list of candidates. Regardless, the Belichick talk is only getting started. There are still 6 games left on the 2024 schedule. Every Cowboys reference he makes during his many media gigs will create a buzz. His critique of the team's shoddy tackling is an excellent example. If Belichick does get the keys to this operation, several players on the roster are in for a rude awakening. And you, fan? What do you think of the situation of Bill Belichick? Leave your opinion in the comments.